Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. In today's video, we're talking about money. I feel like money has a lot of attraction to it, not in a bad way, in a good way, right? And I mean, why not? The Bible says money answereth all things. So being strategic about money, discovering the good in money, using money for the good, all those things are great. Even as a Christian, I'm gonna let you know that, right? So I'm going to be talking about things that I did not spend money on in my 20s. I'm in my early 30s now, and to the glory of God, I have built some form of success and comfortability for myself when it comes to my finances. And it's not honestly without some work, and especially delayed gratification in my 20s. So if you like to know, definitely keep on watching. Let me give you a bit of backdrop. I come from a well-to-do family, went to private universities, and I've got 2 degrees. That sounded odd first, but yeah. And I started driving early on, right? So this is not for a lack of ability to have squandered money, right? Like, I always tell people that care to listen that I'm not that child that is so focused on the inheritance of the parents that you feel like, oh, it's coming, even though I can see it, I can see the results. Like, it has never for one day crossed my mind to now make me feel like, oh, you know what, you'd be lazy or whatever and all that. So I say that with pride, and to the glory of God for also giving me parents who are worthy of emulation when it comes to hard work. As far as my career goes, I actually started working for my internship, right? I got a very good internship placement while I was in uni with a bank, where I eventually even built a career while I was in corporate. And pretty much it was good money for someone who was at 300 level. I didn't have any need. Like, I was even doing the internship in the city my parents lived. My dad would fill my car, so I didn't have any need. But honestly, the fact that I could still bring together all the money I saved after the internship, I was so proud of myself, right? Now, fast forward to when I started making some good money. I finished school early at the age of 19. I was already employed, and it was good money. By 20, I became a full staff, and I was earning in 6 figures in Nigerian naira. So for me, let's say I had the whole of my 20s to build. 2 years before I clocked 30, I actually became fully self-employed. However, that's like 8 years of having, a committed paid employment, obviously, apart from my MBA year and while I waited for my other job that I transitioned into. Said all of that to say that I started to make money early on, and I feel like there were so many distractions. I could have thought I'm young, I was not even living in the city my parents were anymore. If you know Nigeria, I was in Abuja. At some point I moved to Lagos. Like, everything was attractive, in your face and stuff like that. But I kind of knew where my priorities were. So the first thing I never spent money on in my 20s, and please, when I say my 20s, know that I'm saying for the most part of my 20s. First thing is designer stuff. Let me tell you something. It won't catch me buying some Gucci, some good Elvis, some Chanel bag. Did I love it? Did I know about it? Did I have friends that used to bring it and roll it in my eyes? I did. But eyes on the goal. Like, now I own a Chanel myself, I own an LV myself now. However, back then I knew that the money I had access to now was what I needed to first invest, and when it starts to create more for me, I can start to spend accordingly. Like, even now, there is so much more designers out there that, like, in your face. The internet is wild sometimes, and there is the temptation to just walk out of the house sometimes. I can afford it, let me just buy it. But also, it's still accordingly, right? Now, people swear by Birkin now being an investment, and I don't know. I don't know. I only know as far as gold and land and all those things. I don't know, but do you? However, the point of this video is saying that depriving myself of those designer stuff really actually helped me save a lot of money. And now that I actually own a few pieces myself, what I've realized is that it is actually addictive. It is so addictive that you have the Chanel bag and it's like, well, I need an LV. You have the LV, it's like, okay, the Gucci. How about just the Gucci? So if you're not disciplined, it's easy to just go on a shopping spree and spending spree and stuff like that. But the priority for me had always been, let's invest this fund, and then when we get to a particular level, we can start to spend accordingly. So even right now, there are things that I can afford 10 times over, but I know that it is not accordingly just yet, if that makes sense. And honestly, if you're rich, and when I say rich, I mean that you can afford it over and over and over and over. It could be daddy's money, it could be wealthy family, husband, it could be like, that's your lot. I'm happy for you. But if you're just like me, who salary earner, or like just someone on their grind, who knows that the hard work in making money is no joke, then my advice to you would be to invest that money wisely to get to that place where the money can start doing the talking. Next thing is business class tickets, and that's nice. Like, who doesn't want to do like this on an airplane and just slip off? Now, when we're relocating to Canada, you know what, it's funny because my husband and I did a video on our finances like a year ago, and I lost the file. I took that as a pointer that it was not yet time. We went deep into that business class ticket we bought when we were relocating, and maybe we'll film it again. Boy, like, we had to. That's all I will say. But it wasn't like the easiest decision, Now we've come to a place where we know that, okay, for traveling for more than this number of hours, we can afford it. Our kids are involved now. You want that comfort. But when we got married, I was even like 25. When we got married, it was not even on the radar. Everywhere I went, our honeymoon, my trips, his trips, except his that was like sponsored and ministry trips. Our trips that was coming out from our pockets. Economy, keep your economy. Like, don't even play with me. We don't play about things like that. But now it's like, okay, accordingly, right? And let me tell you something, even if right now we're still flying economy in some cases, it's okay. Like, it's totally okay. I know, like, it is enjoyable. After we landed, we looked at ourselves and we gave ourselves chop knuckle. We loved it, and it's something that we will do more of, right? However, accordingly, right now we will wait. Does it, just like we did then, we're relocating with a kid then over a 16 or maybe 18 hours flight. It made sense. But not like we're going somewhere for 6 hours. We'll now say, we have arrived. We are going to arrive we're literally going to arrive at our location. But what I mean is, the time is coming when we will not even make it a conversation. But right now, we do what we have to do. And I think that not letting yourself get into that pressure is very important. Like, a lot of people need to be honest with themselves. You're using money you don't have for people you don't know to be pleased. It's very dangerous. So anyway, I don't want to make this into like a whole pep talk or whatever. But business class tickets was another thing that, apart from that one time when we were relocating, and bear in mind that this time I was like 28, 29. We did not, in my 20s, buy business. I did not buy business class tickets. My husband actually, based on him being like a wealthy kid and all that. Oh yes, he had like I said, like, if the money is there, do you, boo boo? Do you? The next thing I'm going to say is the newest technology. And what I mean by that is, there's been the iPhone craze for a while now, and every time there is a new one, there is a temptation to upgrade. Miss me with that. Like, there was a time I used the phone for over 4 years. There's something wrong with it. Now bear in mind that then I wasn't a content creator. Like, I only needed my phone to send text messages, call my loved ones. Can you see me on FaceTime? Can you hear my audio? Can we talk over the phone? Then we're good, right? Obviously, now that my job entails good quality, then I make the decisions faster. But back then, you could tell me nothing for me to go and upgrade my phone, because it is now out. Like, I knew people that were on that craze. I'm so passionate about this. Some people were fighting when I was in uni, and someone was like, you're so kinikon that until you get to Abuja, you can't even buy the latest iPhone. And I'm like, wait, what? People are sleeping around to get the iPhone now? Like, it's crazy. But that's one thing that, would I have loved it? Oh yes, I would have. But I knew to buy accordingly. Because let's face it, especially where I was living, that there was no pay small small. You could not Klarna it, you could not pay bright it, just pay out of pocket. Now in the Western world, you can pay small small. All those kind of good things exist. But you see, back then you pay out of pocket. How will I carry back then 300,000 naira as a 25-year-old girl? I'm gonna buy phone. But like I said, when I started creating content, I remember my push gift for myself when I gave birth to my daughter was like the latest iPhone. I could accordingly. But in my early 20s, I could, but I just didn't see the need to, because I didn't need to. Next thing is the clothes I didn't need. I was that girl that if you ask me, where are those your blue shorts? I can blindly go to my closet and pick it out. All the clothes I had, I needed. I was that babe. For what? If you don't need it, why am I buying it? And I feel like for 80% wise, it's still like that now. But now, because I get brand deals for clothing sometimes I have to do occasional like photo shoots that is just that I now have clothes I don't need over time. However, in my 20s, you could not catch me buying a piece of clothing I did not need. Can you go to my office? Is it church compliant? Is it like I would even know the occasion I want to wear it to before I buy it? And I think it just makes sense. You see a lot of the impulse buying these days just because you think it will look good on you. Relax. Hear me, relax. That time is coming. Like, and the other thing with clothes, they're so perishable. Like, sometimes you just see, I have a box of clothing outside here, and that's like, maybe, I'm not exaggerating, maybe that's like the 7th to 8th box that we're going to give out to charity since we moved in here in 4 months. Now I know that with kids they outgrow clothes, so all those, maybe name those 2. But between my husband and I, we've given out like 5 cotton bags, and I'm just like, 5 bags of clothes. I said clothes of bags, fashion, but I'm just like, why? Like, that's money. It's tricking my body. But for real, clothes are just so disposable, so perishable. Even when you do get good quality ones, sometimes it doesn't make sense. Now, obviously, it is better to buy the good quality ones. Unfortunately, fast fashion is wild. Like, I don't want to mention names of these websites. So it's just like, why did I even spend money on this? You know, for me, I always justify with, you know, the kind of job I do. I have to change outfits and stuff. But I'm just like, it's just a waste. Like, after 2 wears, I'm over it. Where's my $45? You know? But between the decision now to, you know, buy only good quality stuff that will at least last a while, and just to reduce the way I buy generally, that's where I'm at now. But in my 20s, you could not even catch me buying what I didn't need. You know, no, I don't need it. No, this one I can't wear. Where will I wear it to? You know, and that's it. Think now, as you're watching this video, think about it. Think about all the clothes that you spent money on. Exactly. And while we're still on clothes, I'm going to talk about designer clothes for my kids. Is it fancy? Yes. Do they own some now? Oh yes. Do I love to see them wear it? Oh yes. However, they only own some now because, number one, my daughter is at the stage where at least I know she can rock something for a good year. You know, that time that they are growing up and within 2 weeks, within 4 weeks, within 6 weeks max, they've outgrown it. I will buy it for you in advance. I remember making jokes when we first relocated about a shoe that my daughter grew into. Obviously, I'm not going to be ridiculous and make her trip over in them. I actually bought it and she wasn't able to wear them until, you know, it was reasonable. But clothing, let the clothes be very comfortable on you so that even when you put on and you add on, it will still be your size. Like, those were the tactics that my mother used to raise me and my siblings that made us save money, you know. So why will I? Well, I'm even digressing. You see designer clothes for kids that outgrow them in such a short period of time. I know the pressure is there. And please, let me say again, if you have the money, you're there. Like, I see people who are doing it. I'm just like, I love it for you. God, I love it for them. You see my heart. But with the way my bank account is set up, can I afford it? Yes. Should I do it? No. But what I see is people thinking, because I can afford it, let me just do it, no thought whatsoever towards the future, invest that and retire early, but it's just like people are like, let me do it. Oh well, do you, boo boo. However, I just don't see the need now that I buy some very, when I say some, I'm talking like 5%, maybe one shoe each for my kids. It's like, okay, good quality, not even just good quality design, and thankfully they're like good quality stuff that don't break the bank if you know where to buy them, especially for kids. And that's what I tried to buy, so that they look good, obviously, but I didn't have to break my bank to buy it. But that's one thing when I was in my 20s, you can't even catch me, just be alive. When it comes to food, I need to actually do another video on the things I spent money on that I don't regret in my 20s. And you can tell that good food is one of it, because health matters. But you see, disposable things, some people argue that food is disposable, but at least it's contributing to your health. It's the last thing I'm going to say is a brand new car. You see, for cars, it's funny because the moment you ignite it, that's it. Like, the value drops like 10 times over. So I've never been a freak on a brand new tear rubber, open the rubber by yourself, does it move, can it take me from point A to point B? I'm good. Do I love and will really love to have one day? I guess to just see why it's different, and how it's different from an on tear rubber. Like, obviously, yes, I will, because luxuries of life are good. They're there to be enjoyed. The point of this video is just to make you do things accordingly and not jump over yourself. What happens is, even the Bible says it in Proverbs, is that people end up being miserable for it, because when they should have been saving and tilling the ground, they were eating. And now, time for you to eat, you're starving. That's why you see retired people who go back to work, menial jobs, and you're wondering, what were you doing with your youth, right? And for me personally, I want to retire early, okay? But that's it. We've come to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe on your way out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Whenever your heart is broken, don't ever forget you're golden. I will find a light in your soul.